Freak, do you find that you're guilty of making mindless commissions of error? And is it not especially disturbing if it happens to filter into your gambling? I mean, have you had that happen to you yet?
I got married.
Were you sincere when you said I do? That you thought this was going to last until death did you part? Or were you ready to kill her after 5 minutes
I
to make
sort
that
of,
happen?
I sort of thought that foolishly,
Yeah.
but things happen, and
How sure were you? I mean, is it just something you wanted to believe, or did you really believe that that was going to happen? Like Lubie with Game 6 in the Heat.
no, I mean, I obviously thought, when I got married, it was going to last. I wouldn't have got married if I didn't. It's like putting in a bet. You don't put a bet in, you think you're going to lose. Like, yeah, I thought I was going to lose.
People were on the under at my, especially this last marriage, which I think, the under players got crushed at it.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
And a very pleasant good morning, everybody. Great to be with you here on this beautiful Thursday here in South Florida, a day that could lead to yet another unprecedented set of circumstances. I'm Jeff DeForest, and that is Mike Lubie. It's deep in thought today, although we just put a piece together for Ethan Skolnick's 5 Reasons Sports Network a few minutes ago, and I am amazed at the level of calm that you are displaying. Considering, and I was trying to figure out what song would be appropriate. Songs, obviously, involving the word tonight. What would pop into your head, Mike Lubitz, if we were thinking, is it along the lines of tonight's the night? Is that a song even, or did I just make that up?
Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. Like Black Eyed Peas. That's what I'm thinking.
I can feel it. The old Phil Collins thing. And in the air tonight.
That's more where I lean because the whole world's against the Heat. I don't know. The only thing, and I didn't say it on our Defo on 5 with Lubie this morning. Butler is, and Ken laughs at this, and look, and we make fun of the intangible stuff, but again, with Jimmy Butler and the Heat, the intangible things sort of feel tangible.
Yes.
The way Spo and Butler have been this entire run. I don't know, man. I don't know if they are going to let their team walk away without a title. That's why I see at least going 6, because if the Nuggets are just better and Bam and Butler can't get to that next level, they're not going to win. But I don't see them not winning 2 games. Like, it's hard for me. You and Ken are talking about 5, and I see
that was just the first instinctive number that popped into my head watching the 2 teams in the postseason.
Negative. The Nuggets are
clearly dead wrong.
The Nuggets are the better team. Like, this isn't the Celtics bullshit. Like, I will say the Nuggets are a better team. The Heat would probably tell you in some weird way if they were open to saying it.
I can't imagine the Heat thinking that at this point. Because, the key word there is team, as in there's no I in team. And what we're seeing with the Heat is they're able to count on, and it's almost like they're drawing straws for who's going to be the hot guy in a given set of circumstances. And they have 4 or 5 guys that fit the bill there. That when you take out the frontier players, which you're not sure what you're going to get from Bam Adebayo. You've been lamenting this the entire season, going as far as to compare him. I think you made the comparison, Lubie, of Bam Adebayo to the Chief and Cuckoo's Nest. I never thought I would see that happen here on this show.
I never said that because the Chief was the opposite. The Chief only did was score. Bam actually is doing everything but scoring.
Yeah. But you just want him planted in the basket at the other end of the court because he's like a detriment to everything else that you're trying to do out there. So just stay there, Chief, and do what you can do. I don't know that they're going to be able to afford lapses like that from Bam Adebayo in this series because, look, there's action in the middle there with the Denver Nuggets, and they've been great. I did catch a lot because I was telling you not to sleep on the Lakers all season long, Lubie, and then you fired back, with great cleverness. I think you might have been fed this line by Mike Mayo. Don't sweep on the Lakers, as if it was a disgrace that the Lakers went down to the Denver Nuggets, which I did not consider to be the case at all. I thought, wow, I mean, look what the Nuggets, they've relegated this team to just ordinary status.
I thought the Nuggets beat them in 5. I actually did that. I did think. I thought the Lakers were getting too high and mighty, and I didn't trust their role players. And I was right.
And they didn't have enough role players either because Denver has just enough of that, and their frontline players, you would have to say, on a consistent basis. I don't know that they give you more, but I mean, Jimmy Butler's been great throughout the playoffs. You said he was kind of MIA in a couple of those Celtic games where you wondered what level of engagement he was going to come to. And then at the end of the game, by the fourth quarter, there was Jimmy Butler doing his thing, right? With all of those
It was
crazy
game
moves that he
5.
makes.
Game 6 and 7, he was engaged. Game 6 and 7, he was trying to go to the basket. He
Yeah.
wasn't getting foul calls for some reason, and he doesn't have the lift. Like, he's short on his jumper. He's short on his layups. He's not able to get into the body of the defenders where he's getting those calls. That's a physical thing. Game 5 was a game where it was like, what are you doing? Like, dude,
there are times that you're wondering, I mean, if this guy's going to be the main impetus behind anything that's happening, he can't do that while he's just out there on periphery of the offense and, maybe screening for a guy after he does a little handoff and then kind of wanders around on the outside. That's not going to work. But looking forward to this very much so. And because we wear our emotions on our sleeve here, Mike Lubie Lubitz, on this show, and we share all information. I will say this, and this is a challenge for us because, look what happened with McAfee and ESPN. All the guy had to do was go Joe Pesci, one of your Lubie tirades. And for every F-bomb that he tossed out there, he probably made himself another $1 million a year from these guys at Disney, of all places, right? Aren't they busy with the battle with Ron?
I think
How do they have time to give this guy $20 million a year to, go on a cursing festival? But I did receive a text and a request from the lovely and talented one who we welcome to the show at any time. And it literally is. It's one of those things where you're thinking, wow, Leslie Visser is listening to this show and viewing this show. Well, what an honor it is. But she did request that we refrain from cursing for about 45 minutes. And I said, I probably could do it. I mean, every now and then a 4-letter word is nice for emphasis. It's kind of like putting an extra comma or apostrophe in there and or punctuation. And I said, I can't guarantee Mike Pesci Lubitz and how he might be, because once he gets talking about the Heat and the level of disrespect, and I'm not sure that they're getting that now. I mean, this could be the turning point. The old album by the great John Mayall, Going Back to California. That's where I want to be. Great album, by the way. I think, did I take my mother to that concert? No, that was Jethro Tull at the Syracuse War Memorial. He came up there for a parents' weekend. It's pretty cool, too, because, marijuana, it was far from taboo. I mean, it was a hippy-dippy era where it was really, at the height of its evolution and of its influence at that stage. But it was weird to see my mother pass on a joint. This was not uncommon at concerts, where a joint would be passed all the way around as if it was, the thing where everybody bounces the beach ball to wave, right? And the joint would just go around, and my mother actually passed on it, although I thought she was going to go ahead and take a hit. That was Jethro Tull. But this is a turning point for a lot of people when it comes to at least their viewpoint of the Miami Heat. They somehow have developed that Arturo Gatti dose of respect, right? Where you're saying, okay, he's not the greatest boxer. He may not be the biggest puncher, although he hits hard. He gets hit in the face too much. He's the old Burt Sugar thing, right? He blocks too many punches with his face. And yet you love watching him, and you can never discount the guy.
Yep.
Never, except for, maybe that Mayweather fight where he was badly outclassed and everybody thought he had a shot. But now that people believe the Heat have a shot, and it's a valid comparison and parallel there, because I do remember having some discussions, people naturally were calling me when Gotti was fighting Floyd Money Mayweather. I think I was on like 7 to 10 at night on 790. I just kind of connected with that radio station. And we were getting a ton of calls back then in the day. That was really the, basic fundamental of doing, can you imagine? Sports talk radio, right? Where you actually talk to the people. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, I think Gotti's going to knock him out. This guy Mayweather, he doesn't do anything. I said, listen, Gotti is a club fighter. No, he really is. He's a club fighter just such entertainment quotient levels that it doesn't matter. But he's now going in there in elite company.
He's had the greatest draw ever. He wasn't a really good fighter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the crap out of him, and he would stand there. Like that's what he was.
And Firmo looked like a defensive specialist. This guy, amazing. Robinson. Point being that the Heat suddenly have earned that respect as the blood and guts fighter, and now
Yes.
people are not summarily dismissing them as they normally would. Although most handicappers will have expressed an opinion on this series, and this is the first thing, and you're thinking, yeah, so and so in six, right? Like you thought immediately when the Heat and the Knicks were meeting, it was going to be Heat and six.
That's
A
what I
lot of
thought.
other
Yeah.
people did, but a lot of people thought that, and you thought, yeah, it's probably going to be Boston in seven, which it very easily could have been. It's not. I mean, are you a clown if you had that opinion that Boston was going to win in seven? Should you go
They
out and
almost did.
consider, some form of, shortening your life? I don't think so. Should you go out to the Anglin Pier there on Commercial Boulevard and just walk, not realizing that section is still missing from a year ago? Are they ever going to do anything about that, Louis? I mean, why fix the pier? It literally is the best pier to take a long walk off a short pier that you'll
Yeah,
ever see.
exactly.
Now, will Heat fans be doing that? No, because I mean, and this I think is a misconception. Playing with house money does not mean that you want to lose all of that house money.
No.
I'm sorry. You either quit while you're ahead, which, as they said, an American Gangster, probably the best line in that movie, without question. That is leave the gun, take the cannoli line out of American Gangster. Remember that movie? Denzel Washington?
Yes.
And the Asian drug dealer there says to Denzel, he says, quitting while you're ahead is not the same as quitting.
Look, if you're watching,
I say that to the Mustang every time she sits down on a slot machine. Quitting while you're ahead is not the same as quitting, Sting.
You should never
Denzel.
go to
Yes.
after a run if you're a slot player, like, because you're not, the numbers aren't in your face. Like you already
know it's going to turn around in the casino's favor. It has to.
Yeah. Look, if you're playing slots, that's fine. You do your run and then you get the fuck out. Like,
yeah,
I can see it with the sports. I could see it with horse racing. I could see it with your table games because there are percentages that are in your favor. You want to play slots again, go for it. But to go to the ATM after losing to play more slots.
Oh yeah, I'll get them this time.
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, house money. I mean, yeah, it's great, but at the same time, you're here. You're a professional ball player. You have beaten teams that are of some level of distinction by any NBA standard. The Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, we kind of discounted the Knicks. I didn't think the Knicks were all that great, but they were coming off a real stellar performance against a Cleveland team that
has a lot of talent.
Sort of, faded a little bit in terms of its overall luster towards the, in the second half of the season. But they were dynamite in the beginning of the year.
They're just young. They're just, look, it's like the Grizzlies a year to 2 years ago. They're just young, and you see that in the NBA. Like when you play a team, and the Knicks do have veterans on that club. Like you can see it lean the Knicks away in that regard, and that's what happened in that series. Look, going into these playoffs, the Bucks and the Nuggets. The Bucks were the favorite. I think the Celtics were too. And then I don't know where they did the Nuggets because they were stupid. To me, the Bucks and the Nuggets were on the same level. Like I saw the Bucks and the Nuggets playing in the championship, and I would have given a slight edge to the Nuggets. The Heat beat the Bucks in 5. Like you can say whatever you want about Giannis's injury. The last 2 games, he had like 35, 8, and 6. Like the dude was fine. He did not look hurt at all. He wasn't walking around like Tatum. Like Giannis.
No, the Heat just found a way to beat the Milwaukee Bucks.
If you can beat the Bucks in 5, then yes, you have a chance versus the Nuggets, and the Nuggets are acting like it. And look, Spo and Butler, Caleb Martin, Strus, they all don't look like they won a title. They're not celebrating. They all look like we were here 3 years ago, guys. We've been to the semifinals 3 out of 4 years. This is what we're playing for. You all can say it's house money, and you all can be okay. We're not. So no, they're not playing with house money in their mind. They want a title.
They're probably at least playing with $20 worth of free play. Well, I guess from the standpoint, I don't know how much you would consider this to be of any level of importance in reality. I mean, it's big on talk shows, but so much of what we do here, in this business of sports talk, if you will, is based on expectations that people create. So since there were no expectations, it wasn't even great expectations. This wasn't Charles Dickens, man, trying to find a bunch of beggars in some foggy, swamp. This was, a team that, looked like it was absolutely finished. comes back and sort of finds itself. And I mean, could you wait any later in the game? I mean, this was a deal where you do nothing for like 11 rounds and then come out there and knock a guy out in the 12th. I mean, the regular season. I don't think it was because the Heat discounted the regular season. A lot of people say, "Hey, yeah, well, the regular season doesn't matter." It sure did when they were down to Chicago in the play-in game.
They were
I
hurt.
mean,
I
yeah.
mean, people hate that. Look, the Heat will not make that excuse. They've been hurt all playoffs, but like most of Lowry, who hasn't been good the last two series, at least has been healthy. Lowry was a shell of himself all year. Butler was dealing with stuff. Bam was dealing with stuff. Hero was like, that's why they had the record they had. Like Spo said, we don't make excuses, but like I think they missed the fourth most games of anyone in the league. And I think it was like a record setting number of games compared to league history. Like they had a lot of injuries and it took them to the end of the year to get healthy. And now you see what they are when they have their guys playing together. There's a reason they've been at 3 conference
and shooting well. I mean, we talked about this with Eric Reed yesterday. You're shooting like 27% from the 3-point stripe. All of a sudden, it's 40. And when we know the emphasis on that aspect of the game, and playing very well in sync, and with a measure of confidence that would be atypical of a team that came in there as an overwhelming underdog to even be close to being in this position. Think about that: 16-1. There were only 4 teams left. It was Denver and the Lakers, and the Heat and Boston. And at that point, you were getting 16-1 on the Miami Heat to win the championship. I remember being somewhat startled by that and still not thinking they were going to do it. And I guess as we speak, I mean, I'm not of any firm conviction that the Heat will beat Denver. Can you completely discount it? That would be the question you have to ask yourself. Will this also be the coronation of Nikola Jokic on a national level? Even with 2 MVPs in consecutive years and a very narrow second-place decision loss to Joel Embiid this year for the most valuable player. Playing in a market, I mean, you say it's a big market, Denver. I think he plays in relative obscurity there, no?
Oh, he does. But when you remember, they always talk about market
Can you
size.
name me a Colorado Rockies player at this point, now that they're not really a good team? No. I mean, the Denver sports market, if you're talking about New York, Boston, L.A., Chicago team, you usually know at least a little bit about the teams. Denver market doesn't really, have that kind of resonance around the country, does it? I mean, even now, I mean, we're kind of going to get to know these guys. The rest of the country is. I was following that because, I was watching Denver even early in the postseason. And they played the Timberwolves in the first round. And it was kind of interesting because the Timberwolves are one of those teams that you thought, well, geez, how come these guys aren't better?
They're young. And they're all, the problem is they shouldn't be considered young anymore. They're older than the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies started to ascend in a way the T-Wolves.
What happened to young and hungry though, Lubie? Young and hungry.
Their leader dude is not hungry. He's the one dude that openly Butler hated, and still hates to this day because Towns is a lazy fuck. Sorry, Mr. Mama. I went 20 minutes.
Wow, that was a near record.
Yeah, I would have gone longer, but I don't know.
There we go. We lost our most illustrious viewer right
I don't know how to describe Towns. Like, that's what he is. The dude has all the talent in the world, and he has not gotten any better. He's the same dude that was drafted. Like Bam, who is not as talented as Towns, is a way better NBA player than Towns is. Like Towns, and that's their leader. Like, that's the problem with the T-Wolves. They have tons of talent. Their leader doesn't care. Like Karl Anthony Towns does not give a darn about that. Like,
by the way, A-Rod made yet another, genius investment there.
Right.
Where I think, when he bought into the franchise, it was valued at $1.5 billion. And then that was upgraded to like $3.5 billion since A-Rod has been a partner there. And that's in what, like 6 months? This guy has the most amazing Midas touch you've ever seen. Alex Rodriguez. Not only did he get that ridiculous contract where, did they not think at some point they were going to detect a little bit of juice in the system? No? Listen, A-Rod, maybe you're taking this thing a little bit too far, huh? Having Victor Conti as your chauffeur is a dead giveaway that something's up. But, wow. I mean, my son worked, not my son, my son, his girlfriend at the time, was working for A-Rod's real estate investment company here in South Florida, and they were killing it, man. I mean, think about that. They were killing it. Because he used to, and all of a sudden he'd say, "Hey, Dad, I got a couple of tickets to like a Heat playoff game." I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" A-Rod. So yeah, and they were very generous with the employees. So as much of a scourge as A-Rod seems to be, when you bring his name up, is he not on that list of guys that you think, oh yeah, I hate that guy?
Well, he's just smarmy, but he may not be as a person. It's just the BSing us about roids when we knew he took roids was annoying. I mean, that's really what it was.
He wasn't even, I mean, some guys, can be poker face liars.
No, it was like
but I
smiling.
mean, at the minute that you saw him, respond to these questions from Gammons and Katie Couric and anybody else that was asking, you knew he was full of shit. There, I blew it too. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like the smile version of Pat Riley's laugh. Like,
yes,
it
the nervous Riley laugh.
It was like, dude,
Do you have that? I mean, do you have that Riley laugh? I think we should use that throughout the post. Not just. I mean, what's left of the postseason here? Every comment about the Heat should be followed by the nervous Riley laugh, where he says something and goes, and you're like, "Come on, Pat, who are you kidding with this?"
No, I don't know where it
Yeah.
is.
And I always considered Pat Riley to be very forthright. No.
Yeah,
When he speaks, I mean, you can't have that level of influence unless you have some. Well, that's absolutely untrue. I'm sorry I said that. Because, I mean, look at Trump, right? But I was going to say, unless you have some level of sincerity, some level of depth to what it is that you're saying. But then, look at Trump's ability to orchestrate chaos, which, did you look at this guy at any time and go, wow, that man's a genius?
No.
Never.
Not once.
The hair is starting to morph into bozoic proportions also. This is going to be a very interesting Republican run for the nomination. I'm curious to follow it, even though, I'm seething with almost every word that's uttered. All right. So we have that tonight. And then, of course, we have the Panthers coming up. And that's on Saturday night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to try and get some more insight into this through the eyes and the words of one Red Deer Randy Moeller later on in the program. We love Red Deer. I would imagine, I mean, this guy has to be overwhelmingly euphoric. No, Red Deer, I mean, it's true. Eric Reed, obviously, is part of the Heat culture. And Red Deer has been one of the great advocates for Panther hockey. I think, it's almost like Dick Vitale was to college basketball at one time, right? Where you didn't give a shit about college basketball. And then Vitale was talking about, he's a diaper dandy, baby. And you started paying attention to Central Michigan Tech. Al Bernstein had the same influence in boxing going way back in the day, where he knew so much about these schminks that they were shipping in from Tijuana that you thought, wow, yeah, this guy could be the next Julio Cesar Chavez. It's possible, right? While you're watching yet another Bobby Ches fight from some ice skating rink in New Jersey. I think it was roller skating, right? What was that, the Totowa Arena? Yeah. Where they have all those early. I mean, think about the evolution of ESPN from what it was in the very beginning, Lubie. My God. And they can't come up with anything better than these, just absolutely scripted and pathetically extremist debate shows. Where, I mean, think about this. No wonder Shannon Sharp quit this Skip Bayless thing, right? How could you sit across the table from a guy that tells you that LeBron James sucks for 20 years? And you're sitting there going, yeah, you got a point there, Skip. How far out do you have to sell your soul? How little, conscience could you have to sit there and go, well, Chip, and Skip, you got a point there. LeBron, he's just not the same player that he was 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. All right, so we don't know what to think about this Denver Heat series. Most people are of the frame of mind that Denver wins. Denver, extremely efficient offensively. A lot of fun to watch the way they operate on offense. And then it's weird to have this, guy that looks like Quasimodo, literally in high-top Converse. Canning like impossible circus threes at moments where they desperately need a bailout. Or where, they're about to, maybe not put the final nail in the coffin, although sometimes that too. But, just at least drive it in there a little bit, right? We're going to hang a picture right here. Is this okay? Right? You tap that nail in the wall there and you're not sure. You're hoping the wife gives you the nod and says, yeah, go ahead. Knock it in there, Lubie.
Yeah, just to spot it. Yep.
And like that shot that he hit at halftime over Anthony Davis, you're like, wait a minute.
It's ridiculous.
This is the kind of thing you would expect from Earl to Pearl Monroe, some circus shot like that.
Yep. Well, and he takes it like it's nothing. He doesn't take it like it's
no.
Like, yeah, of course I'm going to make it.
And he does. He has like the shot put under his chin.
it's like, oh my God.
Into the ring is the big Russian. And you're like, what? Is that guy really, getting to these proportions by normal nutritional means? I don't think so. How did they overlook that for so many years in the Olympics? I guess nobody knew what the hell it was, right? Steroids?
Well, you can't detect it. I mean,
East Germans and Russians, man, they were light years ahead of us when it came to chemistry.
Oh, 100%.
How did they not win the Nobel Prize? How did Victor Conti not win the Nobel Prize for chemistry? He took Barry Bonds from a 28 home run a year hitter to 70. That is the use of science, my friend. I mean, it's like the island of Dr. Moreau. It's beautiful. All right, and the Cats in Las Vegas. I mean, I'm very excited about that one. I do believe, and the odds makers would agree that the Florida Panthers have, the better shot.
Oh, yeah.
Of winning the Stanley Cup.
I mean, it's only because they're not at home. And again, as we've seen, they don't care. They win whatever they're playing. Like the home road thing doesn't matter. The Panthers should be the favorite. I'm sorry. Like they've been the most dominant team in the playoffs. They have a guy who may have been the best player in the playoffs in Kachuk, and they have the best goalie in the playoffs. Again, as fans who have watched Bob, I'm always waiting for that guy to come back. But right now,
yes, the horror.
He's been the best goalie in the playoffs, and he's been the best goalie in the playoffs by far. He's actually getting stronger. It's actually weird how he's getting stronger.
He's found himself, man. He's found that old Vezina trophy, Sergei Bobrovsky. It was crazy, right? I mean, you could not say this guy's name without immediately drawing some kind of derisive comment or one of those looks, right? Where, if you're talking, with anybody that actually cared about it at the time, which those numbers were, fairly non-distinguishable. And we talked about it even during the regular season. You have this, core of maybe 10 to 15,000 diehard Panther fans that go to all the games, and not that much interest beyond that. I mean, very peripheral interest in the team until now.
Yes.
Where, and even still with the Heat making this run, the Heat are always going to be, and the NBA probably, well out front of the NHL. But this could be spectacular. All right, so it's unprecedented, Lubie. Never happened before that two teams in the same city in the same year in these two sports have won a championship. Yeah, there have been 8 previous situations, a couple of them in New York with the Knicks and the Rangers. But 8 previous situations where, that's been a possibility. And it's never happened where both teams have come home with the championship. Same city, same year, the two different sports, hockey and basketball. I don't know that it's going to happen this time. One team has won, in those circumstances. It's not like they all got shut out. So I'm hoping that happens this year at least, right?
Yeah, I want to get one. It would be cool to at least get to.
Who wants to come up empty now, Lubie? Empty.
Well, the Panthers.
They don't talk about second place much, No. You win and you etch your name into sporting lore forever.
Mm-hmm.
And you lose, and it becomes part of the Hialeah Park, trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely, who we're going to introduce to you right now. As I mean, you become an afterthought. How many times, Gurggles? And this was especially true when we would get into a horse racing question. And we would have our lone female listener who probably had never been to the track. And the question was, Reva Ridge won this and that, but who finished second? But nobody remembers, right? Even with multiple choice, it's hard to, that was the Knicks. So first of all, Dave Gurggles Gergely, good to see you. How are you, my friend?
Doing fine. A little shaving accident, but I'll make it through. That's okay. But I was thinking about back in 1969, even though I was living in Pennsylvania then, New York had the Nets, Jets, Mets, and the Sets all win the championship.
Wow.
So he had 4 teams. He had the tennis team win it as well. But I'm excited for both the Heat and the Panthers. And I think the difference is down here in Miami Lakes, Hialeah area, for that Heat, they're all on 49th Street with pots and pans.
Yes.
And for the Panthers, I think they're up in Palm Beach with some like sterling silver. So it's a little bit different from the fan base. Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying to get fans out to the FAU games, they had to have like a Gucci bag giveaway to the first 100 spectators that would come in the building. Then all of a sudden they're in the Final Four, and you can't even get a conversation going with the coach, who they would have been desperately feeding us earlier in the season. Hey, would you put Coach Dusty May on? He's a good guy. And that turned around dramatically. All right, what's your feeling, Gurggles? You have a pretty good sense of this stuff. I mean, I know you're not a big sports gambler, but you probably follow it like we all do. And
yeah, I do. I mean, I love it. The good news is I'm leaving Saturday morning for Allentown, Pennsylvania for
that's
the
right.
old time athletes picnic, and it works out perfect because since I don't have cable, Saturday night my hotel room I can watch the Panthers. Down here I'd be listening on the radio, so that'll work out fine. And the obvious thing is just what you and Mike said: the Panthers look to have the better chance. But I've heard a lot of people on the radio, West Coast hosts especially, saying, "Well, it's going to be Denver in 4." And I beg to differ. I think this is 6 games, something like that. Who wins? I don't know. My heart's with the Heat. And is it one of those things, and you know it as well in basketball, is it let Jokic get as much as he can and then stop everybody else? I don't know what that key is, but they're so big on that front line, Denver. That's what scares me.
And they have, obviously a lot of key tools that you would think would be instrumental in being able to, diffuse anything that the Heat have done so far. I mean, Boston didn't impress me as being an overwhelmingly committed team defensively. In that series, and they had a tendency to just I don't know that they were hanging their heads, but they were prone to long lapses of ineptitude. Even later in the season, in the regular season, and certainly throughout the playoffs, and then they would wake up and end up winning by the slightest of margins. Taking Philly in 7 games, it took them 6 to beat Atlanta, so they weren't overwhelming. But Denver has been a modicum of efficiency at what they do. And, while they don't play like 12 guys or anything like that, they do have all-around depth in various categories. I mean, they have good defenders. They can bounce you around a little bit. Jokic, he reminds me of you, Gurggles, because, I mean, you were like, what Andy Varapapa was to bowling, the trick shots. You were to basketball. Yeah, I mean, like you would get on your knees and with your offhand, make free throws. So you had some of that element with you. I can make 7 out of 10
from my knees.
Yeah,
I can make 7 out of 10 from my knees. And now, if I got down there, I'd be one of those little martyrs that says I can't get up. Yeah. But I think the key with Denver, as long as we stop Alex English, we should be able to hold him.
Well, as Jamal Murray's been terrific. I mean, easily could be the star of the playoffs. I mean, Jokic is getting all the attention as it's well deserved. But Jamal Murray's been great. I mean, a very high-level supporting player to the big superstar. So I don't know, that you can go with that philosophy because Jokic is also very good at incorporating everybody else into what he's doing, and they do that very, very well. So we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things that you have to see one. What we thought after the Panthers played Boston in hockey, the first game of that series, that even though they lost, they weren't overwhelmed in the game. It wasn't like there was such a huge disparity between the two teams that you thought, oh, geez, they'll never win a game. And then when they were down 3-1, it didn't seem inconceivable that they couldn't at least make a fight of it. So I would say the same is probably true of the Heat in this series.
Yes.
All right. So
I think it's one of the things where, from a fan point of view, we just enjoy it. We're just glad to be there. But the players, I know they want to win it.
Yes, of course. And, we'll see what happens, but we'll get more indication of which way this is going to go tonight. He'd have been dynamite in the spot. And I don't know, would you rather have a long time off, Gurggles, or just have played like a couple of nights ago in a life and death situation?
I don't know, ready versus rust. I don't know. I think the Heat are just ready to go. I think they're on that kind of emotional and even keel where they just say, we don't want to rest, let's play. And they're young, they're fit. They are really fit, and I think that's going to prove, probably keeping them in.
Yeah, we were hoping we could hawk a couple of altitude simulators to them over the last couple of days, but nobody in the front office would take our call for some reason. I don't know why. It's on the comeback.
Well, the other thing is, too, I got a call from the Paulie man, and he said with everybody in the playoffs, he bought 10,000 paper plates with a wooden stick to celebrate, and I just don't think it's going to make it. So, another Sergeant Bilko scheme down the drain.
Well, and I thought I could unload those Schwitke jerseys. I still have like 998 of them. Remember? Back in the day, I think I tried to, hawk a few on the trivia challenge where we had the Dennis Schwitke jerseys because we thought he was going to be a star. Every Panther draft pick they told us was going to be a star, and I bought into it on Dennis Schwitke, who I think played like 2 games in a Panther uniform. But yeah, I might put those back into circulation and offer them up for bids. All right, we're going to have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. That's coming up. That's why Dave is here. And we'll have some fun here as we've been laced with a certain amount. I don't know if it's high anxiety, anticipation, optimism, or what would you say? It goes with these two
I don't know,
friends.
but High Anxiety was the movie of the week last night with Mel Brooks. I saw that. That was on last night.
When Alex
So it's
Karras
not that
punched
high
a horse.
anxiety.
Yeah, it was.
No, that was a little bit different. That wasn't High Anxiety.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh, that was Blazing Saddles. Yeah, that's right.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, High Anxiety was a great title for a movie. It really was because we're all experiencing it at some level. All right, we're going to get into the Trivia Challenge, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up if you want to play. Lubie's got the Landlubbers gift certificate. Lubie on the road tonight at Landlubbers, which, wow, what a place to be, Lubie. And you'll have finished your ceremonies with your live trivia competition there and awarding the usual prize to the Chronics. And in time to what? What time is this game going to tip off? Like 9:30, you think?
No, it's 8:30. Thank goodness they've dropped these finals from 9 to 8:30. So it'll be like what we've been used to pretty much all playoffs. Yeah, we're done by 8. It's perfect, right? It'll lead right into their pregame, and I'm sure they'll turn the volume up because they are as good of a sports bar as it gets. They have TVs everywhere, and it's interesting. There's always one of them tuned into TVG, or FanDuel TV. So
there you go.
All your sports sensibilities filled, and there's a CNBC somewhere too because we have a clientele of all kinds at Landlubber. So check us out tonight, 6:30. It'll definitely be playoff ready. That's for sure. Finals ready.
I showed up last week and helped the Chronics to a 6th place finish. So the cooler worked.
You're the Undertaker for the Chronics. A human burial. Unfortunately, with all that you know about trivia, I mean, Gurggles was in fine form last Friday at Gulfstream Park. He was challenging these guys with trivia questions and uniform numerology questions. The Greeks' old thing, along with Big Al, and they were absolutely befuddled to deal with Gurggles at the bar last week. I think you stumped virtually everybody. And I'm thinking, the guy does this for a living. He is the king of trivia. He is the man. So we'll have the trivia challenge coming up here with Dave Gurggles Gergely. Dial us up if you want to play. Lubie's got the Landlubbers gift certificate we're giving away. He'll be out there later on tonight. If I suggested to Sufreen that he put the sound up on TVG instead of the ball game, do you think the rest of the clientele would be upset? Il sont partis. What's running around that time of night? Evangeline, right? And so, you get a little French lesson there in case you're watching a French Open and, you want to try and figure out if you can read some lips and see if the player is actually pissed. All right, Hialeah Park, great place to go, though, and a lot of festivities. June, I mean, it's busting out all over. And I can't believe we're already into the 6th month of the year here, 2023. Where is the time going, Gurggles? But if you want to pass it in just the ultimate and classiest of fashions while having a blast, make your plans to get down to beautiful Hialeah Park. Fantastic. I mean, I know Gurggles is a huge fan of the Champion Simulcasting Room, as am I. And then, beyond that, you have quality poker. I mean, they do a great job there. I've always been impressed with the level of professionalism, the manner in which they run the poker room. Hey, Lou, you got a table for me or what? You don't get that there. Just very cool. It's almost like you're in a Bond flick, man. It's great. Yes, Mr. Bond, table 4. Yeah, yes, it's 200, 400. And then the casino is always blazing, with the blazing sevens and all the different casino games that you can play there. They have roulette and blackjack, and you can shoot little craps. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. Everything about it. The vibe is great down there. And, I would imagine a tremendous place to take in the playoff games. You know how they do it in Hialeah Park. And you could be in any area there and find like just a comfortable spot to sit back, relax, and enjoy your favorite cocktails or whatever, and some great food. Watch the games as well, and then you can gamble your brains out. So that's an added plus at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, Gurggles coming back with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Jump on board. 954-417-0070. Later on, Louie and I will be out at Wicked Cheesesteaks, one of our favorite stops on the Mayo Lunchbox Tour. And that's commercial, just south of Commercial on Federal Highway on the east side of the street. The guy, I mean, don't be deceived by the name, man. That could be easily called Wicked Pizza, Wicked Wings,
Maybe
Wicked
quesadillas.
Sandwiches of all different types,
Sandwiches,
Wicked Lobster Roll,
They have
Wicked Lobster Macaroni and Cheese.
ice cream shakes. Like,
I can't believe it. It's a small place, Gurggles. I mean, it's one of these classics, man. And the guy Brian is like, he's like a mad scientist in there, and he constantly comes out with something. You're going, well, what? You make that here? What are you talking about? And he'll bring out like a cake that would be worthy of service at the royal wedding. I mean, just unbelievable. And you say, you made that? What the hell? No, great place. So we'll be out there at 12 o'clock today. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, coming back in a moment with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Now that.
The time.
Those tater tot things, man, those were pretty wicked. That was good stuff. It's 7:42. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
these days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, solo volante, will be coming late. Oh, solo volante, the Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, here on the Defo Show.
Welcome back on this fine Thursday. Great to be with you here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, one Mike Lubie Lubitz, and of course the great one down there. The handsome gentleman at the bottom of your screen is Dave Gurggles Gergely, longtime host with us on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge and various other forms of the Trivia Challenge that we had. That had us doing this for about 25 years on the terrestrial radio, and now a couple of years longer here on South Florida Live. So good to have you, Dave, as always. We want to get into the game. Lubie's got a fabulous prize for our winner, and you also get a distinction. I mean, I don't know that we're handing out the Stanley Cup here, but, that gift certificate always is very useful at Landlubbers, even if you happen to be from Kansas City and you win the thing. Come into town, you got $25 to blow at Landlubbers Sports Bar, and, you get that atmosphere there, and you can. It travels a lot, that money at Landlubbers. It really does.
I say 25 goes pretty far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost throwback pricing, is it not? I mean, you think you're at one of those places where you could get like a meatloaf and potatoes with gravy and a dessert, and it was like 99 cents. Remember those days? Mel Gurggles, you might. You've been around long enough.
I don't know those days.
Horn and Hardart, yeah.
Yeah.
Horn and Hardart going to, yeah, I remember that. But Landlubbers, I was there last week. I picked up the tab for 4 of us with food and drinks. It was $48. Are you kidding me?
And
It's
did
unbelievable.
Lenny hand you 2 of those $25 gift cards?
No, he tried to pay one, and then the lady said, well, one of you had the cheeseburger special. We can't use it. And Lenny said, okay, I'll put it back in my pocket. It was pretty quick. But I put the cash out, and I said, I'll take care of it, Lenny. Don't worry about it.
How thick is
Well, they'll
Lenny's
save it for
wallet?
another time.
I mean, you know how certain guys have like these giant, thick wallets, and you're wondering how much cash do you have in there, Joe?
I don't know, but supposedly the prize is going to be called, instead of the Stanley Cup, the Lenny Cup at Landlubbers. So when they win.
He'll be entertained. He can entertain the entire Panther team there. They would actually like it, right? They'd be getting their money's worth. All right, let's get into it. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Gurggles, obviously, is going to be tossing out the questions. You can dial us up, 954-417-0070. And if you're ready to go, Gurggles, so are we. We begin the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in the traditional fashion with Gurggles as the polyman and some
Easy baseball. This catcher and funny man on Playing with the Philadelphia Phillies once said, one time in Philadelphia, I got pulled over by the police at 4 a.m. I was fined $75 for being intoxicated and $400 for being part of the Phillies. What's that? Bob Uecker, Bob Barker, Fess Parker, or Parker Playhouse?
Euchre had a way of putting things, that's for sure. All right, here's a
Yes,
random
he
phone
did.
scrambler. It's spun by Mike Lubitz, and it lands on, look at that, Ron. Ron, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. How are you, my friend?
Good, guys. Let's go with A.
Always very precise, Ron. I mean, he's like the Eric Spoelstra of this game. Just he knows how to dissect a
We missed him last week. I think Ron was picking up his wife from the airport, and if I'd have picked up his wife and he'd have stayed there, they probably would have won. Anyway.
All right, you have one going for 2.
Hockey, Ron, true or false? Actor Kurt Russell, who portrayed USA coach Herb Brooks in the film about the 1980 U.S. Olympic team Miracle on Ice, actually took a pay cut during the filming so the 1,000 plus extras could have hot meals each day instead of a bag lunch. True or false?
Sounds true.
Sounds like bullshit. It's true?
It's true.
Oh,
That is
very
true,
nice.
Yep.
What a good guy, man. Unbelievable. All right, that's great. Ron, you sniffed that one out, 2 for 2, and going for 5.
All right, Ron Hoops. Ironically, tonight's opponent, the Denver Nuggets, were the number 8 seed themselves when they upset this number 1 seed in a 5-game series in the first round of the playoffs in 1994. Who was that number 1 seed? Or that number 1 seed was...
Ooh. I thought you were going to go back to the ABA days of the Nuggets there.
No, not.
Yeah.
LA Lakers, Portland Trailblazers, Seattle Supersonics, or Houston Rockets?
This one's easy.
Let's go Seattle Supersonics.
Yes, sir.
That is correct, sir. Very
right.
nice.
Well done.
Was that Never Nervous Purvis on that team?
No.
That
That
was way past that.
Kimbe, and I think Mahmoud Rauf may have been on that team, but that was the Kimbe.
Okay, perfect score so far for Ron, and going for the sweep to start us out.
All right, Ron, golf. The U.S. Open coming up next week. In 2014, when Martin Keimer won the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, there was a tie for second with, believe it or not, one of the players, Miami's own Eric Compton, in second place, tied with what other player or with whom for second?
Wow. There you go. See, that was what we were talking about. Nobody remembers who finished second. There you go.
Ernie Els, Justin Rose, Jason Day, or Ricky Fowler?
Oh, Jesus.
Let's go Ricky Fowler.
Wow.
Got it?
Oh,
Right
my
off the
God.
bat, Ron.
Fowler.
Finish that high.
I was going to say the one guy that it wasn't was going to be Ricky Fowler.
Fowler never finishes that high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
No,
Obviously,
2014. He had a great year in 2014, Ricky Fowler.
Okay.
a
If
knowledgeable
I'd have known you'd known that, I
player.
would give you a different question. Well done.
How about the embellishment there on the answer by Ron and being accurate about that? We remember that particular U.S. Open extremely well. And so that means it's only 9 years since our last good prediction on the program. where we came up with Martin Keimer to win it all at 45-1. Put some money on it. And, that got me, into the notion that golf was a great bet. Because you only have to be right once, and you kind of have a free pass for the next 20 years. It's a brilliant thing. And Keimer went wire to wire in like easy fashion and dusted the field. Yes.
Yep.
But he was kind of rounding into form. And, when you're considering these golf bets, you always have to at least leave some room for the nondescript European schmink. And he fit the bill to a T. That same year and that same week, we also predicted that the World Cup would end with begin with an own goal, that the first score in a World Cup competition would be an own goal by Brazil.
And Brazil
sure enough, it was.
Own goal ever. Like Phil
Shane was on with us. Yeah.
To know that they, in their illustrious 12 times winning the World Cup and all the stuff, they had never, ever, 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 ever had an own goal. And he openly laughed at Defo. And the first match started with a Brazil own goal.
Wow.
So we had those two things, but think about this, Gurggles. That's 9 years without an accurate prediction since. I mean, if we could have kept that level of clairvoyance going, where would we be today with FanDuel and DraftKings? I mean, they wouldn't want to put you on, I guess, because you're likely to bury them. I mean, with those kind of odds, it had to be thousands to one on the own goal by Brazil, and then 45-1 on Mike Keimer. What was a good thing. All right, so we get a sweeper to start us out, Gurggles, and I mean. At some point in time, we all have to get together and, I'm not even a cigar smoker, and I just light up a Perdomo, huh? Because, it looks like such a luxurious experience, my friend.
I'm going there today, probably around 1 o'clock, and you don't have to go to the Maldives like I did to get a Perdomo cigar. You just got to go to 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of Home Depot. I'll be there today to pick up some cigars for my trip back to Pennsylvania. And some of the guys in Pennsylvania go, hey, can you bring a Perdomo home for me? I said, I'll be glad to do so. And we're fortunate because it's right down the street here in South Florida. 305-627-6700, the number to call. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go in and see Nick, the proud grandpa of the lovely Lucia, or Nick Jr., the proud father, and tell them we sent you. They'll take good care of you. If you can't get there during the week, no problem. Go online to PerdomoCigars.com to find a retailer near you that sells these great Perdomo cigars. So tonight, maybe after a first victory by the Heat, I want to say they won their opening game in each round, maybe.
Yes.
And maybe they'll do it one more time. So light up with a great cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Excellent. All right. We didn't have a sweeper to start us out. So, it's kind of open to see who the competition is going to be for the championship. And it's kind of like the Miami Heat getting in as an 8th seed, right? I mean, you could get in with 4 points, make it to the finals, knock Ron off, and all of a sudden, Ron's running around like those people in Boston who, as I think accurately described, all looked like they had just gone for the day cruise on the Andrea Gale, right? Oh, yeah, we're going to go 3 miles out and you can start gambling. Next thing you know, you're at the Flemish fucking Cap. Unbelievable. Here's our next set of questions with the great Dave Gurggles Gergely.
NFL football. This Dallas Cowboy running back, when asked by a reporter if he ever saw his coach Tom Landry smile, said, geez, I don't know. I only played there for 9 years. What's out?
That's fine.
Walt Garrison, Walt Frazier, Frazier Crane, or Kenny Mayne?
Never forget, I did see Landry smile when we were in Jamaica with the NFL alumni many years ago, covering a golf tournament there. Landry was one of the participants, and we're online at the buffet they put out at the Rose Hall Wyndham Hotel, a very nice place. And he questioned what exactly was the procedure that they used to get the chicken to be jerked. And it brought a smile to his face. I mean, he like said that. I was in front of him in line there. He's, picking some jerked pork up. And he's like, how exactly do they jerk this? And he had a little smile. And I thought, wow, nobody ever saw this guy smile. It's great. All right. The Scrambler has landed on Mike. Mike, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Hey,
you had it the first time, my friend. You didn't have to double clutch on that. And you have 1 point.
Baseball, Mike. Tom Hanks, who portrayed the coach in A League of Their Own, gained 30 pounds to play the role of Jimmy Dugan, the manager. He gave afterwards a shout out to Dairy Queen for helping him to gain that weight. True or false?
I'll say you made that one up. Oh.
I'm going to say that's true.
No, that's true.
True. Wow.
Yep.
Hey, why not, right? You got to put on 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to do it.
It sounds like I'm going to go on now. Let's see if
Mike
I can gain
Miller's
30
Mike
pounds.
Miller's trying to lose weight and going to clog his arteries in the process.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
He's eating slabs of meat that, Conan the Barbarian would say, hey, I've had enough. Unbelievable.
Carbs.
But no bread. All right. That's one going for 4.
All right, baseball, Mike. San Diego Padres in town. In 1984, the San Diego Padres advanced to their first ever World Series by winning the National League pennant over was that the Phillies, the Cubs, the Braves, or the Expos?
Well, I'm from Chicago. I can't forget that. That's the Cubs.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't know that, Mike.
These are sharp players. How'd you guys end up finishing 6th at Landlubbers that night? That seems impossible.
Well,
Mike wasn't there either.
It's not on there.
Nope.
Oh, no. All right. 4 going for 9 here, Mike. I put you on the
All
ground.
right, NHL hockey. Who has the most all-time hat tricks for the Las Vegas Golden Knights? Is that William Karlsson, Jack Eichel, Jonathan Marchand, or Dylan Coughlin?
Marchand.
I think you did the
And now he's got
pronunciation
2.
of that. Yeah, that's Marcia so.
It's William Karlsson has
William
all-time.
Carlson, man. It sounds like a newsman on Channel 10. Yeah, this is Bill Carlson
does,
here
yeah.
with your local news. All right, so he ends up with 4. Not bad. That puts Mike in second place here. And Ron has 10, of course, and he's already qualified. Unless we get a couple of more sweepers, imagine that. And he gets bumped out. That's like 2 8 seeds winning championships. So it'd be incredible. All right, we're coming back with more. Dave Gurggles Gergely, always doing a great job here. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up if you'd like to play. That would be 954-417-0070. What's great about this new thing with the visual is that, it's now in its second year, but is that you can actually see Lubie answering the phone, which is fantastic. Nice little touch that's added in to add to the production value of the program. And we'll be back, and Lubie will be answering those phones like he was conducting a telethon, right? You know how they always go to the shot of the room there, and there are various celebrities, and they're on the phone. Yes, you would like to donate how much, lady? $35,000. That's fantastic. That'll be Lubie coming up here in a moment. Now that.
The time.
7:59.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Either right-handed or left-handed, get down in there, jerk off the defender.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge underway as usual on these Thursdays with the great Dave Gurggles Gergely. On the Defo Show, Mike Louie Lubitz at the controls. I'm Jeff DeForest, and you can dial us up if you'd like to play the game. We'll play a couple more before we get to the championship round here at 954-417-0070. Later on, about 8:30, right? Lubie, Red Deer Randy Muller, going to join us here and talk a little, shoot the puck, shoot the puck.
Yes, I have spoken with him. We will have Mr. Panthers, and we love Goldie, but this guy's been with the Panthers long since before Goldie. Mr. Panthers, Red Deer, Randy Muller. Superstar.
He wore the sweater, as they call it, right? Is it a sweater in hockey? Why is it a sweater? They're very particular about the language of hockey.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like soccer's called a kit. Like sports have weird names for.
Is it really the sweater? Am I right about that?
I think it is something.
Yes.
Like that, yeah.
Like you think of like some old lady knitting a sweater for these guys, and then the locker room is the dressing room, right? It's not considered the locker room. They get very offended about that. But as sensitive as they are, you can hit them in the face with a stick, and they'll just look at you and laugh.
Exactly. That's the
guy's teeth look like chiclets falling out of his mouth, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you, Gudis." Right? That's my favorite player on the Panthers right now, Radko Gudis. I love this guy. I don't care if he ever scores.
It's like freaking, the guy's insane.
He's got the mountain man beard going. Before the Stanley Cup run, and then he's not out there to even look at the puck. It's just like as soon as the star comes skating down the ice, boom, there's Gudis right in his face with an elbow to the chin, an errant elbow, and it just happens to land. All right, ready to go. Our next player here, Dave Gurggles Gergely, with the questions. We'll play a couple more. 954-417-0070. We do have Ron with 10, Mike with 4, and here we go. Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Boxing. This heavyweight fighter, asked why he didn't sign a contract with Don King, said, "How can you trust a man who talks for 5 minutes and you can't understand a sentence of it?" What was that? Lennox Lewis, Jerry Lewis, Sherry Lewis, or Lewis Black?
All excellent choices. Let's roll the scrambler. Pat, the great thespian Pat. You are on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Take a wild guess, eh?
Good guess. It's on the money, and you have 1 point, and you're rolling.
All right, Pat, NFL football. Marv Fleming, a member of the 72 perfect season Dolphins, now in his late 70s, is still active and can often be seen skateboarding near his home in Venice Beach. True or false?
He's 72. I'll say that's true.
No, that was the season he played.
Yeah.
All right.
You said true.
You said true.
True?
Yeah. It is
That
true.
I did.
Marv,
say.
Marv
Wow.
Fleming is unbelievable.
Do we have him on recently? Like, I think he's still really.
I thought he was dead. If you had asked me dead or alive, I would have gone dead.
2 or 3
Fleming.
years. I think we had him on.
Well, I still would go with dead.
Thought Fleming. I thought Fleming would be
We've
gone.
gone to the grave before.
Yes. I thought, I thought again yesterday. I don't know why this came up, but I really want to do a show called From the Grave where we interview dead guys on the program. I don't know. Do we have to have like some reasonable facsimile impersonation of the guy, or can we just make up a phony dead guy speaking for like Red Auerbach or something, commenting on the Celtics series? All right. Never mind my nonsense. What is that? 2 going for 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a big question, though. Can push you into second place.
Yeah.
Baseball, Pat. Last year, Justin Verlander became the 4th oldest pitcher to ever win the Cy Young Award at 39 years and 227 days old.
Uh-oh.
Which of the following was not older than him when they won the award?
Not older.
Randy Johnson,
Oh.
Roger Clemens, Early Wynn, or Gaylord Perry?
I think it was Wynn.
Early Wynn was like 40 when he was born. What are you talking about?
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson.
It was Randy Johnson, who was 39 years and 64 days, so about 163 days younger than Justin Verlander.
All right. Well, this show is all about redemption, Pat. So even though you
Yes,
whiffed
right.
on that one, you have a shot to move into second place if you get this one right.
Mm-hmm.
This is like an NBA
All right,
game, isn't
sports.
it? You're never out of it. I mean, you could be
Yeah.
down 12 with like 4 seconds to go, and it's still possible. All right. There we go.
Sports, perhaps one of the greatest two-sport athletes Bo Jackson playing baseball and football, how many seasons did he play in the NFL? Was it 4, 5, 6, or 7?
Bo Jackson in a relatively short, I'll say 5.
B, 5. I'm
You
going
were
to say
right,
4.
relatively short, but it was 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Pat.
Thinking
There's a call, strike 3 on the outside corner. Pat takes a look at one and has to walk away today empty-handed. Still very much alive for the championship run with Ron with 10. And Mike has 4 points. So all you have to do is eclipse that if you're our next player at 954-417-0070. Red Deer Randy Moeller on pucks coming up at 8:30 here on the program. And Gurggles, as we put together our next player, tell us some more about Perdomo Cigars.
Sure. It's easy to get to. It's in the heart of Miami Lakes area, right off the Palmetto and the 57th Street exit. Go in there. They're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. So they'll be opening up soon. I'll be there probably around 11 today to pop in and say hello to the gang, pick up some cigars for my trip back to Allentown, Pennsylvania. And you know what's right around the corner, gang? Father's Day. So even if the lovely missus doesn't get you a Perdomo cigar for Father's Day, buy a box for yourself. Buy a humidor. Or if you've got a dad out there who's a cigar smoker, go in and get a gift certificate, Perdomo Cigars. You can't go wrong there. 305-627-6700, the number to call. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go. You don't have to travel to the Maldives to enjoy a Perdomo cigar. You can do it right here in Miami. Perdomo Cigars, they make them perfect one at a time, and it's the perfect gift for Father's Day.
You know how you had the anchorman in bowling where
yeah,
you know, the guy that was lining up fourth in the fourth position there on the team he was the guy you were counting on, who, knocked down like 210. As a matter of routine, you need the big strike. I have a funny feeling that's how this game is going to conclude in terms of players, where the anchorman comes in and tries to eclipse everybody. All right, so here we go. Our next set of questions on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely.
And Winter Sports. This Miami-based humorist on The Great Outdoors said, skiing combines 2 things, outdoor fun with knocking down trees with your face. What was that? Dave Barry, Gene Barry, Barry Bonds, or Gary U.S. Bonds?
Very, Burt Sugar-esque there in its concept. All right, here's a random phone scrambler, and there it is. I knew it, the anchorman. Lenny the Chronic. You see if we can, catapult your way into the finals here. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, Chronic Man.
We're good.
Morning,
we're going to give you 1 point to start. All right.
Baseball, Lenny, true or false? The movie Major League about the Cleveland Indians was actually filmed at the same minor league ballpark as the movie A League of Their Own. True or false?
False.
That is false, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
It was filmed at Milwaukee County Stadium, as a matter of fact.
Is that right? I always figure it's that Wrigley Field in L.A. where they did the home run derby. Is that still around, that stadium? I would think not. That's got to be condominiums by now, right? Oceanfront view, even though we're 10 miles away from the coast. All right, 2 for 2. Lenny gets the true false correct, so that puts him in a good position. Going for 5.
All right, Lenny, hoops. Gene Hackman, who was terrific in the movie Hoosiers, was not the first choice to play the coach. Who was?
Interesting.
Robert Duvall, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, or Donald Sutherland?
No Nick Nolte on there? All right.
Robert Duvall.
Duvall.
Would have been my guess, too. It was actually Jack Nicholson who was the first choice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Would have been an interesting selection there. All right. Going for 7 here, Lenny. You either move into the finals or you move on to the live version later on tonight at Landlubbers.
All right, baseball, Lenny. Which player had the most at-bats in one season? 520 without a home run or a stolen base.
Wow.
What's that? Bobby Wine, Ray Euler, Horace Clark, or Dick Groat?
You didn't throw Gus Triandos in there again?
Let's go with Bobby Wine.
Bobby Wine.
Would have been my guess. He was a Philly, good glove, no hit. Believe it or not, 1956, Dick Groat with the Pirates.
Dick Groat had no home runs?
Sorry, Chronic Man.
Or stolen bases with 520 at-bats.
All right, interesting. Oh, wow, I mean that was a good game. It was very top heavy. It's like winning the first game of the series. We had Ron sweep to open things up, and Mike with 4 points in their second Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Lubie will put together the finals, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Hialeah Park, a beautiful place to go. I know, when you first stepped in there, Gurggles, do you still remember? I really do. It was like.
Yeah.
It was like walking out of the tunnel into the seats at Yankee Stadium the first time, where you went, wow! I mean, this is just brilliant. Especially for a kid from Brooklyn there to actually see and smell real grass. And the kind that you would walk your dog on, not the kind that you would smoke, which
Yep.
later on, of course,
Yeah.
obviously became my personal favorite of mine. It was great, and it still is that. I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? When you go to a casino, you come in, you get smacked in the face with the air conditioning. You can see the casino faces on the people that are sitting there, slumped over slot machines, losing dollar after dollar and 20 after 20, hundreds after hundreds, and they're walking around with a little voucher in their hands. There's no vibe, right? I mean, when you walk into the casino at Hialeah Park, it's hopping.
Yeah, I remember like yesterday, 1971, down on spring break from Rider College in New Jersey, in Fort Lauderdale on the beach. And luckily, two of the guys with me were total degenerates. We got in the Volkswagen bus and drove from Fort Lauderdale Beach to Hialeah. And when I went through that opening with the big, beautiful trees and everything like that, wow, what a place. Went inside there and it was terrific. And been going back ever since. And great day tonight. You can go there, gamble a little bit in the casino, watch the Heat game. Tomorrow night, huge card at Penn National Racetrack. So Ortiz will be there, big turf racing. So Friday night, go there. Saturday, go during the day, go dance a little bit, go into casino at night, watch the Panthers at night, Sunday back for the Heat. Man, you got it made. And all you got to do is go to Hialeah Park. Friendly when you get there, and very, very affordable food and drink, and great action of all kind.
You would know this if anybody would. Is Bruce Kravitz still training at Penn National?
Yes.
He is. Yeah,
one of the leading trainers. Yeah, Bruce Kravitz. Yep.
I knew this guy like 40 some odd years ago, and he had a stable of horses. He was just kind of beginning at Santa Anita of all things, and he was 0 for 50 for the meet. And I think they were thinking about revoking his license or something. And he tells my friend, the Mighty Melendez, that he has one going that cannot lose in like the sixth race. We're like, Kravitz, you've lost every freaking race so far. What are you talking about? So sure enough, he did win it, and on a day where it was just torrential rain, a mutter for all time, and he was out there around the same time where Angel Cordero had like an 0 for like 300 meet, and ended up going back out of California with his head in shame. There, they're not the same there anymore. But what was he was like the King Leatherberry of Penn National for a while, right? Bruce Kravitz.
Oh wow, King Leatherberry, yeah. Good call.
He did well. Yeah, he did very, very well. All right, we'll come back. Oh, you want to do the finals first, Lubie? What do you want to do? It's up to you. All right, let's do them right now. While we got it, and we'll get the Gurggles back out there on the golf course. Which sloppy track today? What's the story on the golf?
No, it's fine out here. I've got a meeting today with a tournament after school all-stars for June 9th, and we're gearing up. The course is in really good shape. The greens are running terrifically. Come out here. If you don't have the Premier card, you can buy it right at our desk, and you can play anytime, prime time or whatever, just for $40. So a great deal here at Miami Lakes Golf Club. Come on out and see us.
Do you own more than one golf club, Gurggles, or do you use the same club?
More than one golf club?
Yeah.
No, I've got probably 5 golf bags actually. But
you do? Okay.
Packing my clubs up for the trip to Pennsylvania to play up there with a guy named Jim Boros, played on the tour, and a friend of mine, and we'll play a little golf Monday, I believe. Yep.
You never had, do you remember this? It was like a new device where they had the thing, and it was like a Gillette adjustable razor.
Yeah,
and it was an iron you could twist.
Adjust the iron.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
That was very economical.
We have an alien wedge. Had an alien wedge.
I had an alien wedge also, and I found it to be very effective for the first few times I swung it. And then, like every time you get a new club, you revert back to being the crappy player that you really are. All right, we're ready for the finals here. And this should be, it's a heavyweight battle there, worthy of anything that we've ever seen. Speaking of Don King Promotions, we have Ron and Mike. Gurggles is going to fire for question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. If nobody does that, we'll offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth until we have a winner. Good luck, gentlemen, for the championship, the Landlubbers gift certificate, and a chance to meet Mike Lubie Lubitz. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
I met both, actually.
All right, boxing. Actually, it's a boxing movie. In the first draft of the movie Rocky II, where was the fight to take place?
All right. Anybody? Here's multiple choice.
Was it A, the Roman Colosseum, B, Madison Square Garden, C, the Palladium in London, or D, the LA Forum?
Ron,
Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
let's go D.
Yeah. Okay.
What was that? D?
Yeah, he said LA.
Yeah, it was not the LA Forum.
Okay, not the Forum. All right.
Dude,
Holy chick
so
Hearn.
so
No, that
what-
was wrong. 3 left.
Was it the Roman Colosseum, Madison Square Garden, or the Palladium in London?
Mike.
B.
B.
All right. It's got to be Garden. No, okay.
Incorrect. 2 left for Ron.
In the first draft of Rocky II, where was the fight to take place? The Roman Colosseum or the Palladium in London?
I have no idea now.
Crazy enough, let's go Roman Coliseum.
That's what I would have figured.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right.
That's right. Yeah, 2 gladiator warriors. It was originally scheduled to take place in the Roman Colosseum. How
All
about
right,
that?
very good, Ron. Sweeper, well-deserved champion here today. As he really was dynamite, and even embellished some of his answers. So that was fantastic. And we congratulate him on winning the game. He'll be along with the Chronics, right, tonight? Oh, Louis?
You would think.
Just,
I mean, I don't. They usually are there.
Remember how paranoid they were about us giving stuff away on the radio because the people never actually got their stuff. That was always great. And then it would accumulate the anger in some of these meetings that we were not, invited to. And, eventually a scathing memo would come out. Like, if you guys don't straighten out this mess with these prizes. And we're like, what, us? We have nothing to do with it. What are you talking about here? We'd be happy to give this stuff away. All right, so this is good. Direct contact there, so we don't have to continue to put Lipschitz on retainer. All right, Gurggles, you have fun. Where are you off to? Where are you going to be making public appearances?
I'll be
Will
here
you
all
be
day.
at the
I've
stream
got
tomorrow?
meetings maybe to pick up a form for the airplane ride Saturday to Allentown.
Oh, that's right.
Because when I get
that's
off
right.
the plane Saturday in Allentown, it'll be 12:20, and the Mohican Sun OTB parlor is 2 minutes from my hotel and 5 minutes from the airport. I'm meeting a guy there at 1 o'clock, so I'll be there for the first post at Belmont on Saturday. The Old Timers Picnic Sunday, golf on Monday, back home Tuesday.
What airline? I mean, do you get a direct flight to Allentown?
I
What do you
fly
have to do?
American.
Philadelphia?
I fly American, and actually, believe it or not, it's American into Philly, and then from Philly, you take a bus to Allentown.
A bus?
So we'll make it work. Yeah, it's only an hour ride. That's okay. I'll be studying the form. Not a problem.
Well, when you were going to smaller, airport destinations or city destinations, they had that like interchange there at Philadelphia Airport. I don't know if you're ever going to. I guess you had to at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
Where you actually are like on the tarmac, like getting onto like a small, 8-seater. And
an American Eagle. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, now, which one of you guys are, going to Connecticut? I hope that's the plane that you're on. They've already taken off. You're like, what the fuck? I'm on the wrong plane. No, it was very confusing, especially in the wintertime. I was in that situation a lot. All right. Thanks, Gurggles. You have a good time. We hope to see you at Gulfstream tomorrow. Yeah.
You got it. See you guys.
Thanks, Gurggles.
Gurggles always having a good time. All right, we're going to come back in just a moment here, and in about 10 minutes, we'll talk to and speak with the great Red Deer Randy Moeller, now the color analyst on the television broadcast for the Florida Panthers, and does a dynamite job, very enthusiastic, very insightful as well, and I would imagine this does not hurt him at all. I mean, how much was he pulling for the Golden Knights, do you think?
Oh, it's just a thing. Like he's Mr. He's on the.
He is Mr. Las Vegas, man. I mean, Elvis had nothing on this guy. So that's an interesting scenario. So he is going to be living the dream that we could only dream about, Lubie. Sarni was really bugging me, hitting me hard about why aren't we going. But, the truth was, while it might be a really nice thing to do, I mean, there was little chance that we were actually going to benefit any except for, our own personal enjoyment from making arrangements to get out there and catch a game in Las Vegas. I would like to do that I think during the regular season, you probably have
We
a
can
much
get
better chance.
credentials. Getting credentials isn't a problem. It's we didn't do it in advance. Like for a series like this, you
Yeah.
have to do it a month in it. You have to be way in advance to try and get credentials. Like 5 Reasons is credentialed. I believe probably could have got us credentialed. You brought it up the week. The Panthers had already clinched when you brought it up.
Yes.
It's a little late at that point. Like,
Well, we had brought up the proposition of going to a game in Las Vegas, though, because of the whole thing with Jim Frivola. What was a guy that was a producer on the Sunday night sports wrap show that we did with Jim Mandich for a few years and Joe Zagacki. And then, I got to know him then, and I hadn't spoken to him for like 30 years or whatever it was. And sure enough, he turns up as the marketing director, the original marketing director, or head of sales for the business side of the Las Vegas Golden Knights upon their inception. And, the question was one of etiquette. I mean, do you call this guy after a while? I'm never speaking to him. Not that I always thought he was a great guy, did a great job for what he was doing at the time on the show. It was always fun to be around. But do you call him after 30 years and go, so, hey, Jim, I'm in town with the wife. We were thinking about, maybe going to a game. And hoping that he offers at that point, oh, well, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but I happen to be the marketing director for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. My next call is going to be to Steve Wynn. What a coincidence. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. And we didn't do it. And now he's gone. I mean, he's like with a big-time soccer organization somewhere. This guy has really had like an incredible sports business career. Should we have gone into that, Lubie? Don't you have a master's in sports business or something? What? I mean, we could be. Look, we played general manager here on the show, do we not? How on earth could they possibly have done that, right? I mean, we're doing this all the time on these sports talk shows. And, I would think many fans, it's funny, too, because it seems like I was not as, dismissive of fans' opinions as a lot of sports talk hosts were. Would you say that's a fair statement, Louie? That, where the common thing was a caller would call in and no matter what he said, you denounced him as being the dumbest asshole you've ever spoken with in your life. How could you possibly think that?
I hate when people do that. Look, there are some fans that are loons.
Yeah.
I get it. But there are also some broadcasters that are clearly loons. So, I mean,
will just say anything. And they don't even have an opinion. They just, steal one from somebody else.
I mean, if you watch, Mike Greenberg still is saying the Celtics are the better team. No, they're not the better team. They lost. If you lose a series to a team, not a game. You can lose a game to a team.
You sound like Iverson. By the way, that's one of the better commercials on TV. Of all the Kevin Hart commercials, the one where they imitate the not a game.
Oh, the practice.
Talking about practice press conference there, and Iverson's in the commercial. That's really, and you got Steph Curry in there who's selling everything now too. I mean,
like that commercial is actually funny. Like the Eagles beat the Niners. Well, the Niners were playing Deebo Samuel at quarterback. So to me, I still think the Niners were the better team. When it comes to a series, if a team beats another team in a series, the team that won is the better team. To still hold to that stupid
I think we saw that. I mean, what counts, in terms of that consideration? A, winning,
if you keep that.
But B, I mean, who was better when it mattered most? It was in almost, I mean, look, they had to win 4 out of 7. But, had they done it in a different fashion other than gagging away possibly the series? And, you also have to take a look at, here are the Celtics. They bounced back from 0-3 and are the first team ever to have a home game and they lay an egg.
Yes.
And, they had no way to compensate for if Tatum was less than himself. I mean, you have to have a way to compensate. The Heat have found a way to compensate. You would have thought if the Heat were going to make a championship run, wouldn't Tyler Hero have had to step up his game a little bit and demonstrate some kind of consistency if they were going to have any chance at all, right? You couldn't take them out of the lineup altogether and expect to win, could you? Maybe they're a better team. I always love those debates without the guy. No, they weren't. Otherwise, I mean, this guy wouldn't have been the 6th man of the freaking year.
They're not better without him. And there's no way once Tyler Hero got hurt, you thought they're making it to the finals.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. But you take it as it comes, not as it was. And the Heat, Look, I thought the Cavs were better than the Knicks. The Knicks beat them in 5 games. The Knicks are the better team. If you win a series over a team, you're better. It's not fucking rocket science.
No, you can't look at it and say, oh, well, geez, they're so much better than the Miami. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. There's a lot of that goes on because the truth is, to most of these questions, there are no answers, no definitive answers. And so, that's how you can sit there for hours on end and speculate on these things. I'm just looking at it on the surface from what I've seen so far. And, I was most impressed. We were saying this a few weeks out, weren't we? Not even knowing that the Heat would be the eventual opponent for the championship for the Denver Nuggets. That if we were going to be sleeping on something, people were sleeping on the fact that Denver was playing the best basketball of anybody in the postseason.
Yes. I said it to start.
They really were. I mean, if they lose the series, that came to an end. But to this point, by going 12-3, 8-0 at home, you would have to accord them that nod and say that's the best basketball. Now, it shouldn't have been what Heat have done is. I mean, beating Jimmy. I mean, and you thought Milwaukee would find a way to bounce back and that.
I mean, they were up 3-1. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. We'll see tonight.
Yeah.
It's a bit extra.
We'll continue.
I think he said now that.
The time.
I think we've lost Defo. It's 8:27. We're going to break and hopefully be back with Red Deer Randy Moeller.
Edition of Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodzie, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodzie, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. Make the right choice for your home. Call Choice Mortgage today.
Let's hope we're dead wrong about a lot of things. That could be another book that we put out. Let's hope we're dead wrong about a lot of things. The end is near. You can tell the end is near, man. You could definitely do that.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Very exciting times here in South Florida. Wow, look how handsome this gentleman is. Unbelievable. As we have two teams going for championships. The Stanley Cup is on the line, and so is the Larry O'Brien Trophy. And, wow, look at this gentleman coming into the show. Hopefully he's not frozen in time here, Mike Lubie Livitz, but we're going to try and welcome in one fine. Red Deer Randy Moeller. And Red Deer, are we connecting here? Red Deer Randy Moeller, ladies.
Hi, guys. How are you? Do you got me here?
Hey, you look good.
We do, but it's like a kung fu movie. Your mouth is moving, and then like 10 seconds later, the words are coming out, which is great. Speaking of kung fu fighting, and look, I don't know anybody that epitomizes the franchise there and wears his emotions on his sleeve, about the Florida Panthers more than you do, Red Deer Randy Muller. You've been a huge advocate for this team forever. Every time we get down on them, you lift our spirits up and make us believe. You're like the Benny Hinn, the healing power for this franchise. And yet it didn't look like this was going to be the case here. I mean, when they were staggering kind of through the late stages of the season there, and they had to rattle off that 6-game winning streak, and then they lose two, crucial games at the end of the year. We're waiting to see the scoreboard to see if the Penguins lost. And you were thinking the Stanley Cup was a distant afterthought at that stage. So what the hell happened out there? How are you, by the way? And how much are you enjoying this? We were just saying you couldn't have asked for a better scenario. Panthers in the Stanley Cup, and guess who they play? Las Vegas.
The Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah. Hey, good morning, guys, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's exciting times down here in South Florida, and I'm just so happy for the fans and for everybody involved. Us, all three of us, we've been together for so long, and we've seen the ups and downs and a lot of downs with this hockey club. But it's very gratifying to see how this team has really galvanized and come together. And they brought in Paul Maurice, the head coach, and the team knew that they had to change. They had to change the way that they played, the style that they had to play. They had to play tighter defense. They had to play more physical. They needed better goaltending. Well, it took almost the whole season. It was like Defo was like you in 9th grade or whatever. It took you all year of the school year to figure out that math problem. But they finally did. They got over a horrible schedule in in February and March, and they got some of their injured players back. Bobrovsky and, of course, Barkov and Sam Bennett came back at the right time, and they seemed to just peak right at the right time. Now, go back to 96 when the Panthers last were in the Stanley Cup Finals. Defo, you were here. The Panthers lost like 10 of their last 13 games before the end of the regular season. Everybody was, oh, my goodness, woe is us, and what's going on with this team? But all of a sudden, they just came together. And what's so impressive is how they're able to win, like going back to last year, scoring all those goals, but they're able to win these low-scoring games. They're 6-0 in overtime. They're 7-1 in their last 8 games, and all of them have been 1-goal games.
Wow.
It starts with Bobrovsky, timely goals, and the physicality that this team is playing now. They just beat the snot out of the Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes with the physicality, got them off their game. Matthew Tkachuk has been magical down here and captured the sporting imagination of this fan base down here. And you put it all together. It's all got to come together in order to have that collective success. The Panthers have found it. The cliches are all over the place. The lightning in the bottle. But the run that they're on right now is, I've never seen something like this, and I've been here for 28 and a half years.
Wow. Yeah, same here. And even Pat Riley was wearing a Tkachuk jersey when he accepted the Eastern Conference Championship trophy. So that was great. They're really lighting a fuse with a lot of people. It's been great. And Lubie's got something for you, but you mentioned Bobrovsky, and we can't help but think, can you pass along our apologies for the things that we said? I mean, we've equated him to when that Hungarian guy in the movie The Usual Suspects is going, Kaiser Sose, and his face is just laced with horror. And you're thinking that's what happened when Bobrovsky came into that game for Lyon, and you thought, oh no, Donald Trump in the pipes here than Bobrovsky. And then since that time, he's caught fire. So that's been sensational.
Well, and guys, this was, I think, for the fans as well. I know it was for me, and probably for you guys. You take a team, the Florida Panthers last year, that won the President's Trophy for the most points. They had scored the most goals since the 92-93 Mario Lemieux Pittsburgh Penguins. They beat the Washington Capitals in the first round. Then they go up against Tampa Bay. They get punched right in the nose.
Yes.
And they lose 4 straight. So Bill Zito and the hockey operations staff obviously had long, very tenuous meetings after that. And they sat down and said, okay, we have the talent on this team. We need to add a couple of pieces here and there. But the biggest thing is we have to learn how to play playoff hockey, which is so different from regular season, where it's run and gun and trading odd man rushes and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s and that. In the playoffs, it gets more physical. You have to accept that, and you have to initiate. And there's less room to maneuver and make those fancy plays that the Panther fans were so used to from the year before. They bring in Paul Maurice, the head coach. He preached it from day one. You guys, I know, you know all about it. You read and watch his press conferences. And there were certain times in the year where he would still keep beating that drum, and you're going, oh, boy, Paul, you're talking about playoff hockey. You're 9 points out of a wild card. What are you talking about? But he never wavered. Yeah. And his belief in the team and the parts of the team that they had, he never wavered on it. And slowly it came. And then once they got through those, a lot of the the adversaries of the season and the long and the stretches and the, playing on the road, come home for 1 and then go back out for 4, and that's taxing on the team and injured players. And then, Alex Lyons, he saved the season, guys, in goal.
Yes.
Not once, he did it twice. And if it wasn't for Alex Lyons, there you go. Where would this team be? So
Lubie's so in support of the Cats. He's got a cat in the picture.
Parts, a lot of different parts why this team is where they're at.
Did you like that touch there, Randy, where Lubie has the cat come into the picture?
Well, I got my little dog here. I'll chase my. I got my bear hunting dog here. She's 8.5 pounds or whatever. She's ferocious.
How are you not in Vegas already, though? I mean, in anticipation of
No, I'm not going to Vegas, guys. I'm not going to Vegas. I haven't been.
What?
I have not.
You are Elvis Presley to us.
I have not been in the arena since Game 6 against Boston. Once the first series is over, we do not do broadcast the games. Everything goes national on TNT or ESPN, right? So on Bally Sports Florida, we do over an hour post-game show from round 2 all the way through to the finals, and that after every game, we break it down. I break down plays, why this happened, why they won, why they lost. And we do that from the studios in downtown Fort Lauderdale, Bally's. So it's unfortunate.
You're not leveraging. I'd love to be there. Vegas.
Can you get us some tickets or something? I mean, come on, Randy.
No.
We'll go out there.
Yeah, that's true. But, I enjoy doing it. I worked the first number of games with Jessica Blaylock. And, of course, she's a favorite of mine. And
yes,
we're having a lot of fun. And now I'm with Goldie in the studios.
Oh, beautiful.
Goldie still goes to the arena home games for the first period and a half. Okay. He's over there and does a thing on the center hung scoreboard. But I'm in the studio and I'm with our producer, and he's got the laptop, and we're watching those games, and we're breaking down all the plays and all the hits and obviously the goals and the saves and that. So then we can put this thing together, and it's been a riot, guys. Can you believe it? The Panthers have won 11 of the last 12 games. 11 of the last 12.
Yes.
They've won 8 straight on the road. Nobody would have thought of this, a month and a half ago. But this team has proven that they can do it. And the talent on this hockey team has come together with the physicality and the grit and staying with the system. And Sergei Bobrovsky is just kicking everything out. He's kicking, and I'm a grinning, guys.
Well, the thing to me, and we talk so much about Tkachuk and bringing in the physicality. I haven't watched hockey like either of you, but I've followed it in my life. I find it's rare to see. He is a superstar who can do everything offensively, literally slap shots, juke moves. The goal he made to win the freaking series was ridiculous. but he's also willing to do the little things. Most stars, he'll fight. He's physical on defense. He'll set the screens. He'll just lead the team. To me, it feels rare for a guy that's his caliber player with the lineage that he has, a Hall of Fame father, who's willing to do all the little things. Like, how rare is that, Red Deer? Like that to me, it feels very rare. Like, you don't see.
Yeah, it is. He's got it. Matthew Tkachuk's got a unique talent, but I can tell you what, he has changed this whole complexion. And it's not just the playoffs, guys. Go back to the start of the season. He plays the game the way that you have to play on a nightly basis consistently in order to win consistently. And that's doing the little things. And as you said, Lubie, about blocking shots, going to the net, willing to take the physical punch in the side of the head, finishing your checks. And, oh, yeah, he does all that, yet he is our best offensive weapon, and he shows up every night. And you know what? This team has just gotten in line and followed his lead onto the ice of the style of play that the Panthers want him to, or want this team to play. And good on them. There were so many criticisms. The Panthers obviously traded two popular players in Huberdeau and Weegar to Calgary. Panthers gave up first-round pick and a high prospect. But they knew that they had to change something, the personality on this team. In comes Matthew Tkachuk. The way I can compare it, guys, and Defo, you've been watching, because originally you're from New York, it was the same thing. The New York Rangers were talented, yet rudderless. They bring in a Mark Messier, and within 2 years or whatever, they win the Stanley Cup. It's the same thing.
Well, this guy's a younger, addition also, and very much rolling into his prime. I mean, it's probably we've been saying is it. Usually, we're on the wrong end of lopsided deals here in South Florida. Like it's the Marlins unloading, really good players and getting back a bunch of lame prospects that never blossom. We've seen this, the Dolphins making bozoic trades, and you're thinking, really, they let that guy go? He became a superstar. Wes Welker. I mean, all of this stuff that's happened. We're always getting hosed in these deals. This, I mean, we had, the Shaqquisition, as we call it, when Shaq came here for the Heat, but I think it's the most beneficial trade overall. I mean, Huberdeau was great last year, but he wasn't this element that Tkachuk brings with the toughness. And then at what point? Now, I know Denny Potvin used to do these things, these demonstrations out on the ice there when he was a color man with Goldie. I don't know if you're doing that, but when did you take Radko Gudas under your wing, Randy, and teach him the techniques that you had adopted from the WWE and incorporated into the game of ice hockey? I love this guy, man. He is my favorite Panther player at this point.
Oh, he's no doubt he's a fan favorite, and he looks more and more like the ZZ Top Boys. Every game
it's great, man.
To trim that beard. But go back to last year. If you watch the Panthers play consistently, it was Radko Gudas really that was the only guy consistently that was hitting and the big hits and play that physical, tough style and move guys out from in front of the net. Now they've got 18 players that do that. Yeah. And we add with Tkachuk and now Gudas, and they bring in the Stahl brothers and Mark Stahl and are back on defense. He's a physical presence, blocking shots, the sacrifice. To tie it all together, this team has accepted, Paul Maurice's system of how to win games and the block shots and the hustle and the cover up for each other, the support, the big hits, getting in the passing lanes, bottling up, frustrating the opposition. They have mastered it so far through the first 3 rounds. The big question, can they do it for one more round and win 4 more games? If they play the same way that they've played so far, the Florida Panther fans will be able to touch that holy grail.
I mean, I've watched naturally with interest much of the Western Conference portion of the playoffs as well. You always have an interest in Las Vegas, and the great angle there is the Marcia So Riley Smith thing, where we thought, are you kidding me? They let this guy who just scored 30 goals and looked like Pavel Bure Jr. going expansion. And then later, I guess they traded Riley Smith to Las Vegas. Vegas has Gerard Gallant behind the bench there to start things out. And they go to the Stanley Cup final in their first year of expansion. Impossible. I'm thinking, how much money did Bettman take under the table to allow them to have these kind of considerations where they actually had like a good team? And the support was crazy there. I mean, I actually do, Red Deer. You've been to games there. The atmosphere there in Las Vegas, I mean, even for a regular season game against the Kraken, it is what you would expect, from, the all-time show-stopping city when it came to production, Las Vegas, Nevada. So how do you see these two teams matching up? Because I mean, that was a thing of beauty. I'm sure you tuned into the game where they clinched against the Stars, and you saw the beginning of the game. They had just lost 2 in a row. The series, like all of these playoff series, have been just airtight. I mean, they all could have gone either way. You can make that case. And the Stars are right in there with Peter DeBoer, oddly another former Panther coach. And they just laid it on them. I mean, they look great. They scored in such a variety of fashions. What would you say about this team? They were also getting good goaltending from this Hill, and when they're on, they look just like the Panthers do. I mean, almost mirror images.
Yeah, I think you're right, Defo. These two teams, Vegas and Florida, are built the same. They have above normal speed up the middle of the ice. They're tenacious. They have a big, experienced physical back end. The defense. They've got a hot goaltender right now in Aiden Hill coming out of nowhere. I mean, you couldn't find this guy with the hockey news about 6 months ago. Bounced around in the minors and a couple of cups of coffee in the NHL over the last number of years. But
yeah,
he's a very quality goaltender, and he's played extremely well. Where I think the Panthers have the advantage is on the defense, the offense coming from the blue line. The Panthers right now through the playoffs already have 9 goals and 26 points in 16 games. 6 of those goals are from Brandon Montour.
Yes,
if the Panthers can continue to get that offense from their blue line, that might be the tipping point for them to host Lord Stanley's Cup. And special teams, injuries, and the number one thing is goaltending. And no better goaltender so far that we've seen in the playoffs than Sergei Bobrovsky. The big question, the Panthers will not play for 9 days in between games.
Yes.
Have they lost their edge? Have they lost their quickness? Have they lost their execution with that long layover? It's not so much physical, it's mental. The Panthers game 1 have to be ready to be jumped by the Vegas Golden Knights. They're such a strong home team. The Panthers have to be ready for it. They've got to play simple, stay out of the penalty box, not allow. Vegas has got a great power play, obviously, and ride it out. Ride it out for the first 10 minutes of that first game. If they're even or only just down a goal after the first 10 minutes, I have all the confidence in the world that the Panthers are going to end this series in a quick fashion.
Wow, that's strong stuff. I read there, Randy Moeller. I mean, you share the confidence of Maurice, the coach. We were so dead wrong about this guy, at least as far as this season goes. And obviously, there's been a tremendous resurrection because if Alex Lyon doesn't develop a serious hole in his glove, we don't see Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
And when we did see him, we were still horrified when he came into that game against the Bruins here. And he gave up a quick, cheesy goal, and you thought, "Oh my God, this guy sucks." And
yeah, kudos to him, guys, because he came back in at the highest pressure point
that
any athlete could have in his career against the top team in the league. Your team is down, and he comes in and completely just takes over the series and took over the number 1 star in the Toronto series and played a huge role in the Carolina series as well. I've never seen this before. There's been some comparisons when Patrick Roy did it in '93 for the Montreal Canadiens. Also, there's been a couple other Jonathan Quick with the LA Kings when they won their first Stanley Cup.
He was hot
way back when. But it's a phenomenal ride. The big question, can it continue? Can it continue? can Sergei Bobrovsky just look back on these last 9 days of a layoff and still have that focus and that form to be able to get into that zone to make those big saves, to backbone the Panthers winning these games? As I said, the last 8 games have been 1-goal games, and the Panthers are 7-1 in those 1-goal games.
This guy's making circus saves too.
Oh, he's playing out of his mind.
I mean, he's like a wrestler coming off the top rope there and landing a haymaker. Slapping stuff away with the glove. I mean, impossible saves. That's been a lot of fun to watch. What can you tell us, Red Deer, about Paul Maurice? Because I've been very impressed, and we thought he was the French Joe Philbin because after games he would just say, I don't know. And you're like, who is this guy? He's losing his coach in NHL history. A team that was supposed to have all his promise, is laying there like they're going to miss the postseason altogether. And then all of a sudden, like you said, it all comes together. And this guy seems like the coolest cat in the room all of a sudden.
I heard a great story the other day. It's almost, I like to use comparisons. It's almost that you've got a restaurant, a highly rated restaurant, and have all the greatest ingredients and the perfect location and the view and the staff and that, but something is missing. The chef is just not hitting his stride to get this team over. And you bring in a veteran chef that's been to multiple places, that's been in the restaurant business for 30 years. And something happens, but it doesn't happen overnight. And I think you could compare that to Paul Maurice. When he came in, from day one, he said, we have to learn how to play a different style. It may look good and have success in the regular season, but in order to sustain that success in the playoffs, you have to play a certain style. And I agree with you, Defo. There was times, and our fans were going crazy. We lose at home. I'll never forget. We lose at home on January 1st, New Year's Day, in the afternoon to the New York Rangers. And I was driving home after the game, trying not to drive into the ditch. We're 9 points out of a playoff spot. And Paul Maurice's comments after the game was still very positive about, we did some things right. We're still in a learning curve. We're still that. And I'm like everybody else. I'm
French Joe Philbin, yeah.
Oh my goodness, Paul, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
But that's where I give him credit, is that he never wavered from the style and the belief in this team. He said it a number of times. We have it in this room. If we can get healthy, get through some tough scheduling, and we can come together at the right time, this team can do some magical things. Guess what? We're in that magical carpet ride right now. Good on him.
Yeah. Our friend Jim Sarney would contend that it was when he, went the opposite direction with the team and called them a bunch of pussies. But that was the turning point in the season right there. I don't know. I mean, you've been in hockey dressing rooms and, around the players on this particular team all season long. Do you think that would have had the kind of impact that, would indicate, okay, you're right, we are a bunch of pussies, we're going to turn it around?
Yeah, well,
and Gudis let him out of the tunnel that night. Said, let's go kill somebody.
Well, a lot has been talked about that situation. The Panthers were in Toronto. They were down. They weren't playing well. They'd lost 3 straight, coming off a terrible loss in lethargic, uninspired loss in Ottawa. And Paul Maurice is a very composed coach. And I think it just got to him. And he even said it. You know what? I've played the good cop. I've been a nice guy. I've kind of casually and passively pushed on these guys all season long. And he said, enough of that. And he let them have it. Sure enough, the Panthers come back. They tie it up. Montour gets the overtime winning goal, and the Panthers go 6-1-1 in the next 8 games and qualify for the playoffs. Yeah. And the rest is history. He's only done it once. I've only seen him do it once, but it was effective. Now, people ask me, just like you did, about being in the locker room.
Yeah.
I used to get coaches like that used to scream at me every day. Every
You're a
day.
pussy mauler.
Oh, all the time, and threatening to send you to the minors, and I'm going to bench you, and Mueller, you're going to be so high up in the press box or whatever, the popcorn's going to be dry.
You were a first round pick,
and that so. And that just shows, guys, and you guys do a phenomenal job of covering all sports, and that you've seen how the game has changed. If you're a head coach, the Don Shulas and the Mike Keenans and some of these guys that were taskmasters, and that it doesn't work with today's athletes. These athletes are 21 years old, making $3.5–4 million a year, some of them even more. And your message, you can't be negative all the time. You've got to be half a psychologist, sociologist, taskmaster, strategist, general. You have to have a combination of it all in order to get your message through, to be able to not just motivate. Athletes need to motivate themselves, but to set a game plan on how, with the tools that they have and the talent that they have, the personnel, how they can get to point A and point B, and convince them in a positive fashion and positive reinforcement that the team will believe in it and buy in. And Paul Maurice has got the experience. He's seen every different type of style, every different type of team, players, and that. And for him to push the right buttons and order and be able to get these guys to buy in, kudos to him. He has proven that all the skeptics that halfway through and 3/4 of the way through the season, rightfully so, but he stuck with his guns. And how about this? I want to mention that even when the Panthers were clawing and fighting for a get back in that playoff race, at the trade deadline, General Manager Bill Zito didn't make a move. And everybody was up in arms. Oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. And what his speech, we believe in this team. We believe that in this locker room, we're going to stand by, we're going to support. This is our group going forward. Let's see what happens. Sure enough, away they go, and look where they are now in the Stanley Cup Finals.
And it's a pleasure having you on, Randy, as always. Just great fun. But I couldn't help but think, and I don't know if you'll get this opportunity, but I mean, in what ways would you add to the legend of things that have been done with the Stanley Cup if you get this in your possession for one day? I mean, where does it go? What do you do with it? I mean, people have baptized babies in the Stanley Cup. I mean, obviously, they've consumed all kinds of, bizarre alcoholic combinations. What does Red Deer Randy Mueller do with the Stanley Cup in his one day of possession? If you get your
You know what? You caught me off guard, guys. I haven't.
It would have to be something colossal.
I don't get a day. I don't get a day with the cup by myself, and I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'm just happy.
I'm sure the league is also.
Yeah. Can you imagine me clutching that Stanley Cup?
I'm trying to think what could possibly be done that hasn't been done in the past that would shake up the world.
Can you imagine me taking that thing to Gulfstream, holding on to it in a chokehold as I need that 8-ball to come around and pass 4 horses so I can hit that $1 superfecta and get them all in a row or whatever, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs.
Come on with this 8. Yeah, I mean, I could see. I mean, the Stanley Cup has never been fired at a jockey before.
Exactly.
In disgust after a bad ride.
Ortiz,
you suck. And the cup goes flying onto the track. That would be awesome.
I'm happy for everybody. I'm happy for this team, the Viola family, Doug Sifu, his partner, Vinny's partner, all the staff that have been through some very tough times. Nobody has been here longer than I have to see, and especially the fans that have been here and the support for so many years and have seen some promises and some heartbreaks. To enjoy this moment. We're almost there, and kudos to them, because they're the ones that really deserve it here in South Florida, the fans of the Florida Panthers. And hopefully we got 4 more wins to really have a party.
All right. Well, it's been a blast as always, Randy, and I'm glad you returned Lubie's call because you had to be thinking it was concerning Game 3 tickets. More so than this interview. Yeah.
Defo, Lubie already texted me a couple of days ago and didn't even tell you. And he's looking for tickets for Game 3, which is the first game.
Yeah.
And on what is it going to be on next week on the 10th, and I was able to do it. And all I told Lubie is he's just got to park at the back, and then come in that back door security door.
Yeah.
And just tell him that the password is Steve Goldstein.
Yes. Maybe he'll, be mistaken for Goldie and, like he was for Pat Day that time we snuck him into the Kentucky Derby. And the security guy actually thought he was Pat Day and said, are you going to win the 5th, Pat? And we're like, I think the guy's a few pounds overweight. I mean, I would imagine this guy is an anchor on the back of that horse. What are you talking about? All right, Red Deer, we love you, man. Thanks. And we'll be enjoying the series. We'll hope to talk to you again before this whole thing is over. And, who knows? It should be tight and it may go the distance. So that'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much, my friend. Always a pleasure. Red Deer.
Yeah.
Randy.
Good luck, guys. Thanks for having me on. And Lubie, you got my address for that Landlubbers gift certificate. Talk to you later.
All guests receive one,
Yeah.
All right.
That was great.
Red Deer are good. I mean, a serious. I always get a dose of enthusiasm for the franchise, no matter how disappointing their play is at the time. Whenever we talk to Red Deer or Andy Muller, so now they do come in here as a very hot team. I know we're sort of pushing Las Vegas into the background here, except for the fact that we'd love to go. Their team has also been hot.
Yeah.
They haven't just eased through it the Panthers, the fashion in which they are just cleaning the deck with these good teams out of the East, very, very impressive. But as Red Deer pointed out, all 1-goal games, that's kind of been the case with Vegas for the most part. They've had a couple of blowouts in their series against Dallas. I think they won one game 4-0 and one game 6-0. And when they get rolling, man, I mean, they are tough to stop. I mean, that would be one of the interesting aspects. Here you go. I'll give you some analysis, Louis.
Yes.
You want some, in-depth analysis?
Yes, definitely.
They have, an ability to put, ignite a real spark offensively. And the Panthers' defense at times has still been suspect. They've been bailed out by Bobrovsky a lot. Otherwise, they could have given up, you could say this, I guess, all the time. But I want to say, and I would have to look this up, and see if it was actually true over a period of time. But Vegas is pretty good at limiting the number of shots that you get on goal. It's not like they have this big stifling defense, but they block a lot of shots, and a lot of the pucks never get to the net. Whereas the Panthers have a tendency to have these weird defensive lapses at times, where luckily they've been bailed out by Bobrovsky in the postseason. Had they not been, they would have been blown off the planet in the first round. So
their defense is vastly better, but it's still. Look, the game 4, their defense sucked. I mean, point blank.
Yeah.
Like, Bobrovsky was getting annihilated.
Oh, that guy, he looked like a circus.
He gave up 3 goals.
There.
He wasn't playing great. That's a joke.
All right, we're going to bail out. We're going to see you guys at Wicked Cheesesteaks. If you're in town, come on by. It's a great place. I mean, you can't imagine the variety that this guy pumps out of there, all at a high level of quality, including the Lubie, which was very good, that chicken parm sandwich.
Yes, he's doing an adaptation to a chicken parm hoagie. We have the Defo, which I actually, as a guy who doesn't like a big hulking.
I kind of like that Defo sandwich. Yeah, that's a good one.
Smaller Philly cheesesteak on a different kind of bread, which I actually enjoy. The mayo is great. And he does everything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Pizza. Yeah. Wings. Wings are dynamite there.
Rolls, Philly cheesesteaks.
Lobster rolls. Yeah. Like $19. Cheap too. And he's got some kind of BOGO thing working, I think, on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
So, and that is a great place to stock up on all kinds of stuff for, if you're watching a game tonight. Wicked cheesesteak. So stop on by there. I mean, you can stick this stuff in the fridge and it's still good like hours later, man. Just throw it in the toaster oven and bingo. It's like you just got it out of the oven there itself. Fantastic. So we'll see you there at 12 o'clock. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox for Mike Lubie Lubitz. Our thanks, of course. Gurggles with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Red Deer was great. Talking about the Florida Panthers and their chances against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We'll see you at 12 o'clock today as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:05.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.